All right, so you've been trying to market your practice, you've been trying to advertise your practice, you're getting nowhere. Social media sucks, you're getting no followers, nobody's clicking on your ads, you're spending a lot of money, nothing's working out. Perfectly normal, perfectly fine, we've all been there. Marketing is not a science, right? It does take some tinkering, but it's very rare that somebody will market and never have any success with marketing. That's pretty much unheard of, fortunately. So there are solutions. Let's come up with some ways to troubleshoot your marketing campaign. One thing to understand about social media is that there is a lot of noise, right? It's like the internet. If you do a search, there's a lot of noise. It's like my website. If you go to digitalnomadphysician.com, there's a lot of noise. I've written so many articles on that website. I've over 1 million, probably about 2 million words on that website alone. So how do you stand out? How do you make one article stand out? How do you stand out on the whatever social media platform that you're on? So one way that we know social media works, one way that we know online content works is through keywords, at least for the time being, at least as of 2023 when this course goes live. And so the keywords that we're using may not be the ideal keywords. We may have to do a better keyword search. There is a service that you can do yourself and somebody can do for you, but it's basically optimizing the keywords that you're using. If I'm using virtual primary care or virtual longevity care, maybe that's not enough. Maybe that's not the right keyword. So it's all about doing better keyword search to see which other keywords I could add to my campaign, to my social media, to my search engine optimization, what better keywords I can use for advertising to get the right people to come and find my service and pay me money. Another option, another thing to explore is backlinking. So you have created all this content, it's just not grabbing anyone, it's not taking off. And the reason might be your content is very siloed. It's not connecting with anybody else. So backlinking is incredibly important. You can hire people, onlinejobs.ph, fiverr.com, Upwork, you can hire people to help you with backlinking. What matters is that you do the backlinking properly. You don't want to just backlink to every single crappy article that's out there. But if your content is about derm, if your content is about ortho, if your content is about gastroenterology, pediatric neurology, then you want some other well-ranking website to maybe link to one of your articles. And that is what backlinking is. Reaching out to that entity, to that website, to that company, and having them link to one of your articles that you think will actually improve that particular website, their particular article. And for some of you, you just haven't created enough content. The content creation strategy that you've been using is just not adequate. Maybe you need more content. Now, sometimes it's not about more content, but it's about better content. But in general, the more content you create, it's going to be quite likely that your stuff is going to take off. In the marketing section, we talked about content marketing, a content strategy. So figuring out a way to create more content, more specific content is a great way to stand out. And if you have content, you have a lot of content, but the content is not sticking out. It might be because you need more compelling content, something that speaks more to the user, something that stands out in some way. So for example, if your content is every article is super thorough, super long, maybe you need some more concise stuff, such as maybe something along the lines of like HDL, chasing your HDL is not going to result in a better heart health or better heart health outcome. Leading with something like that, and then maybe just talking about how HDL is a less effective way of trying to decide whether you should be more aggressive about your cardiovascular risk. Yeah, I totally botched that one, but you get the idea, right? You want to make your content more concise, make it more compelling, maybe reach out to somebody's fear, right? Like you're worried about a heart attack, but you're spending your time chasing the HDL. Here are some more effective ways of getting the desired outcome. That was actually pretty good. So getting through the social media noise, one option, create more compelling content, make sure your stuff stands out. But of course, one great way to cut through it is to pay money. How do you pay money? Social media ads. So you have an Instagram account, you have a YouTube account. Now using a good advertisement campaign, as we talked about in the marketing section, hiring somebody to do it for you if you want to. Push some of your content that you think is good, is powerful, and push that through with some ads. It's going to reach more people. It's going to reach the kind of people that you want, and it's hopefully going to get you some traction. So let's talk about some other marketing hurdles, some other marketing troubleshooting sections that you might be encountering. Online reputation. So either you have no online reputation or your online reputation sucks. That's okay. That's okay. You might be at a 3.1 right now, and you already have some virtual practice, and you took this course because you wanted to improve everything about your course. Well, the good news is it's very much possible. Remember that your online reputation is much more important than the articles that you write and things that are out there about you. You need to control the narrative. You need to control the story. And the way we do that is by requesting feedback from each and every customer. Everybody who interacts with us, we want to get them to give us feedback in the form of online reviews. Dear patient, I would love to get some feedback about my care with you. I'd love to have you tell me how I could improve, any thoughts that you have, any positive experiences that you had. We would love to hear from you. This is very different than saying, hey, I would love some positive reviews. Nobody likes to hear that. Instead, give us some feedback. What could I do better? What did we do well? We're going to use that feedback to improve our service and hopefully help more patients. When you hear it in that way, as a patient, as a consumer, as a customer, you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go write some things and write out some thoughts. So when you get more positive reviews, you improve your online reputation. But when you get negative reviews, those are good. You don't want a business that has 100 5.0 reviews. Usually that's a little bit shady. Helicopter. Some stretches. Oh, that feels good. So if you do get negative online reviews, a great strategy is to address it. That's one of the things. If you get positive feedback, say thank you, share some thoughts, talk a little bit about yourself. Don't be a smartass and say, well, that's how we do it. Instead, try to use that opportunity, even replying to positive feedbacks, to further advertise the services that you have, to further demonstrate to other people who are reading it that you're there, you're listening, you're taking feedback. Oh man, I love seeing that. When I go to Google, I do Google Maps quite a lot. And when I search the reviews for a business and I read the review section, I get so much insight. And I'll tell you, the businesses that I have picked based on this system, it's worked out good for me. You might find quite commonly, in fact, when you look at the neurosurgeon reviews and dentist reviews, you might see a lot of negative reviews. For example, you see like a 3.5, and then you go digging into the reviews and you start seeing that it's like, they didn't have any appointments for 3 months, or the front desk was super rude. Oh, the doctor was amazing. The doctor was great. I love the doctor. The doctor was super nice. So you have this physician, this neurosurgeon who's got a 3.5 review, 3.1 review, or dentist, and everybody loves the dentist. They love that doctor. It's just all these other reasons that they're giving it a negative review. So obviously, I want to go to that neurosurgeon because he's or she's really good at what they do. Of course, they could improve this by replying to the negative reviews and maybe talking about how things went bad or went well. Instead of just saying, oh, sorry, you had a bad experience, call this number and we'll help you. Like, that's terrible. That's just bad. Don't do that. Instead, be more thoughtful. Every reply should be individualized. Like, sorry, you had such a bad experience. We are aggressively working on our front desk. We're working with some new team members. We're doing some new training. Please reach out to us and give us a chance to do well by you the next time, or something along those lines. If you get a negative patient review and they share something personal, be careful about replying back to those things, especially if you're being snarky, because that can backfire. There's actually a proper etiquette for how physicians reply. In fact, I'll leave a link below in the resources section for medical justice, which is run by a neurosurgeon who also happens to be a JD, an attorney. And they're all about online reputation, making sure that you have a great online reputation. So do use them, because it's quite important the kind of reputation you have as a physician online. The last section, the last part of your online reputation is also going to be personal content. Get personal content out there. If you search Mohammed Ashori and Dr. Mo, my ugly face comes up quite a lot. My videos come up, my podcasts come up, my written content comes up. You're seeing me. I am not comfortable being on the camera. I'm not a narcissist, at least I don't think I am. But I need to get me out there because I know that it's going to help me attract the kind of people who are just going to gravitate to my personality. So it's like my living resume. It's like my living business card. I want to put it out there for people to find it because it's also going to make my brands, my content more personable. Someone's going to be like, this poor guy, he's doing this. Let me pay him some money. Let me work with him. Or they might say, I like this guy. I like this personality. Or somebody will say, I really don't like his big nose or his attitude, he's too this, he's too that, and they're not going to work with me. And that's also good because I don't want to attract the wrong client because it's going to be a bad experience for both of us. So if you're comfortable, get some personal stuff about yourself out there. Share some personal stories, share some hurdles, do some videos, some audio, some written content. Right now, and I suspect for the next few decades, audio, video, and written content is going to be the main way we communicate with others. So use it to your advantage. So the next section is going to be, you've been spending all this money on marketing and you're just frustrated. You're like, I'm getting nowhere and I'm spending $1,500, $3,000. And I know of physicians who spend $10,000 a month on their practices to market it and they're not getting anywhere. So how do you fix that problem? How do you address that issue? Probably the best way is to step back, right? Reassess, all right? You're spending this much money, you're not getting anywhere. Great. Scrap that entire idea, scrap that entire advertisement campaign, and you start over. You start very small and you scale up, meaning you start spending $300 a month, $150 a month, maybe $500 a month. And then you assess, am I getting anywhere because of this spending? What's working well? Even if you see a little blip in one section, for example, you run one advertisement campaign for ACL rehabilitation or carpal tunnel issues, and you see like, I'm getting actually from this campaign, I had some conversions, meaning people clicked on that advertisement, then they purchased a product from me, whether it's an actual one-on-one consultation, whether they became part of my practice, whether they purchased one of my courses. So I got something from this. You want to keep doubling down on that. See if you can make this campaign a little bit stronger. So you spend a little bit more on that campaign and you spend a little bit less on the other campaigns that aren't working. Now, if you work through the ad campaign section week, the marketing week yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, no worries. That's something your advertisement person and your marketing person can help you figure out. But you always want to know that. Which campaign actually resulted me in more profits? And I want to spend a little bit more there, which means I can spend a little bit less there. And once you get those results, you spend more money. You say, okay, I'm going to spend more money on this because I'm actually getting results, until you reach a ceiling or some algorithm changes, something changes, and you're no longer profiting from it, in which case you stop. So that's the marketing hurdles. I hope this was helpful. Tell us what's worked for you, what didn't work for you. Some of you have shared with me that, you did Facebook campaign and it did nothing for you. That's great. But other people, it worked for them. Some of you swear by TikTok. Some of you swear by YouTube content. Some of you have told me that radio campaigns are absolutely terrible. I believe it. It depends on you, your voice, your message, your content, and it's all about experimentation. On to the next section.